Hi folks, welcome into the Stars of Tomorrow show. Once again, my name is J.K. Coltrain, and our next guest is a very special guest. He's not a star of tomorrow, he's been a star for a long time. One of the few people with longer hair than me that's been around longer than me. Welcome in, James Marvell.
Well,
hey,
I wish you would have kept me as a star of tomorrow. Maybe I got another chance in this business.
Oh, yeah.
Like Jim Ed Brown said, I wish I could do it all over again.
You're back in style again.
Back in style again.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
And you are. How did you start out? How did you get your start in the business and some of the history?
Well, J.K., it's a long story.
I know.
And it starts back in the days even before I met Keith Bradford. Can you believe I knew Keith Bradford over 40 years ago?
40 years ago.
And
I wouldn't tell her.
I was in Florida, in Tampa, Florida, and there was a fella that played guitar. He was the uncle of Bobby Bear. That was Bobby Bear's uncle, Johnny Bear. And in those days, the kids would love to go into the long hair because the Beatles were breaking out. But Buddy Good, the other Cavalier, Buddy and I wanted to do country music because that's what we love. So we actually were country before we had the big million seller with Mercy. And it was Johnny Bear that kind of taught us the ropes about country music in a little honky-tonk in Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida.
Yep.
So that's it. That's where you hail from, the Tampa area of Florida.
Tampa area.
Okay, and then, so you stepped out of the bars and honky-tonks into a big stage with a group called Mercy with a monster hit.
Oh my goodness, it was the late 60s, and the group came along and we did this classic Love Can Make You Happy. Can you imagine J.K. being there in the top 10? The Beatles were at #1 with a song called Get Back, and Elvis had In the Ghetto at #6, Sinatra had My Way at #7, and there I was with Mercy, right under the Beatles, with the song Love Can Make You Happy. We had the hit back then.
That's wild. And I'm old enough to remember that in high school. Matter of fact, at the high school dances and so forth, your song was playing. We were slow dancing to that. Love Can Make You Happy and Oobla-dee, all that good stuff. So I remember that, and sure some of our viewers remember those group Mercy as well. And then what year did the Country Cavaliers, and how'd that come to be, and what year was that?
Well, the Country Cavaliers, of course, is the duel, and I remember Keith Bradford had a band back in, I keep mentioning Keith because he brought a lot of memories back when I came in today, but he remembers that duel from the early 70s, around 1970, and we left rock and roll, Buddy Good and I, the other Cavalier, to go into country to bring a message. The purpose of our duel back then, the Cavaliers, was to try to reach the young people. They were drawn to long hair,
right? And
the parents would bring them to our shows, and we'd give them an anti-drug message. That was kind of that's what the purpose of what the so-called first outlaws was, to discourage the drug scene and try to help them. And,
right.
But Nashville, that system back then, the ultra-conservative Nashville system, thought we were a couple of hippies with cowboy hats, and it was pretty rough.
I understand that in the prototype. I know I'm a long-haired person myself, and I go through that myself. People have actually come up to approach me just because of the hair.
Right.
It got the image. You must be. No, and I drug to the utmost. That was a great thing, and of course you were a little bit too early for Nashville. I think maybe just like Willie Nelson, he hit Nashville. He was a little before his time, and he marched back to Texas.
Yeah. So it was a rough ride, and when you brought Willie up, Willie Nelson didn't sweep us under the rug. Back about 20 years ago, 25 after the fact, after we already had broken up and all that, Willie brought us back out and placed the Country Cavaliers in his museum as our history. Being kind of what they would call trendsetters.
Right.
And Willie, just a real fine guy. He just said, "I want
Willie
you guys."
He never forgot you.
I want you guys in here. So
the original Outlaws, the Country Cavaliers, and he's still playing, still picking, still grinning, still writing, still performing.
Am I? Yes.
Yes. Matter of fact, you played a little bit of a gospel number. You're getting ready to release.
Right. And I think you might be helping me with that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you go in the studio with me, J.K. I've heard how great you guys are with your production, and I'd love to do that song, and maybe with your help here in the next few days.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a great song from what I heard, and I can't wait to hear you do it. And I brought out a duet myself. I said, hey James, I got one for you. We ought to do this song. So I got one So stay tuned for more. And I'll tell you about this little bit about the video we're going to play for you. It's a live show from Branson, Missouri. Where was that taped at in Branson?
I've been going in and out of Branson. It was actually Willie Nelson that introduced me to Branson, and I'll always appreciate that. Him and Frank Oakley, you remember them? They have the Willie Nelson and Friends General Store. It was the Oakleys that brought me in and teamed me up with Willie there, and for a while I was, matter of fact, I came to join them when Willie was having all those IRS problems. Can you believe I would go into business with Willie during his IRS problems?
We all know about that.
But that's how it happened, and this was one of the shows I did in Branson just about 6-7 years ago. I was on the Jim Owens show. Jim wrote songs like Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man for Conway and Loretta, and other hits for Jim Ed Brown. He's written hits for Jim Ed Brown, and so many. So he wrote this song for me, and I joined his show there, and I was a guest after the year after Cal Smith was on his show. I was on the Jim Owens show.
That's great. I do know Jim. Yeah, he's been around. I call him the cowboy. He dressed like a cowboy.
He's great.
Good guy, good people. That's awesome, man. And we don't want to leave out the missus.
Oh, my wife Faye.
She's in there, yeah. So,
my wife Faye.
Marvell.
Honey, I love you. I love you.
She's in the video too, so don't leave her out.
No way. Hey, sweetheart, we're good old boys, but I love you. Also, I want to mention the guy who wrote the big hit for Mercy. His name was Jack Sigler Jr. I always like to remember him.
Right.
He's a great writer of the big hit. And of course, Buddy Good was the other Cavalier back then.
Know about Buddy, and there's a video on YouTube you need to watch about see Buddy too.
Yes.
Nice little sit down there. But this is going to be the video we're going to play for you is James Marvell live from Branson, Missouri.
James Marvell has had hits in 3 fields of music. He had a #2 pop record in 1969. Only the Beatles were in front of him when he was with the group Mercy. And Mercy had a lot of hits, and James Marvell's had a lot of hits. He's had #1 hits on the country independent charts. He's had #1 hits on the country gospel charts. Make welcome James Marvell.
When I was young, I'd ride those country roads, rock and rollin' with the radio. I was wild and free, that's all. In a moment, I'll carry you to the 60s when I was recording on Warner Brothers. But now, let me take you to the 70s. I was part of that duo, the Country Cavaliers. Yes, folks, it's real long hair. Matter of fact, most of my family are barbers. We used that image to draw the young kids and give them an anti-drug message. We were discouraging the drug scene and using that to draw the youth. I'm the guy on the left, and we are on the Wilburn Brothers show. Here comes Jack Green, Jeannie Seeley.
We have a young group with us that happen to have the #1 record in the country. They're from Tampa, Florida. This is their first national television show, but certainly not their last. Here's their new album, Love Can Make You Happy. But right now they're going to do a song called Oobla-Dee, Mercy, Mercy.
I love those love songs. Our second big hit on Warner Brothers when I was recording with Mercy was also an instrumental by Pete Drake. We came along and did this one. Remember? Forever. Hold me, kiss me, whisper sweetly that you love me forever.
This is a gentleman they call Mr. Ricky Treat from Little Rock. He just came by. He wants to pay his respects and say thank you for all the help you've given him in that show we've invested in. You know, he just wants to say thanks.
Michael, is this necessary?
Well, yeah, Pop. Yeah, I mean, he's come a long way. It's only in town for a few hours.
Just like a blind man, I wandered alone. Worries and fears I claimed for my own. Then like the blind man that God gave back his sight, praise the Lord, I saw the light. Say the things you used to say and make the world go away. Say the things you used to say and make the world go away.
James Marvell.
And welcome back, folks. That was James Marvell with his lovely wife, Faye.
Well, yeah, she's in it a little bit in the video. Now, there are other people in that production
Right.
off of
Mention her name.
from the Jim Owens show.
Uh-huh.
And right now, you know, it's been a long time since I've performed with them, but of course, you'll hear Jim Owen in the beginning and at the end saying a
Right.
few words. Great show, the Jim Owens show. When folks go to Branson, they got to go see Jim Owen.
That's great. And like I say, we go way back. And I know in Europe, Jimmy Owen is big news over there now. You go to European charts, you'll see Jimmy Owen's name in a number of places.
yeah.
He's got his show. It's still popular there, of course. Like they like a lot of our classic country music.
Right, that's
you
the
know,
best.
and,
There's, you know.
So anyway, that was James Marvell. We really enjoyed having you in, James. And if you want to find James, you go to jamesmarvell.com. We'll post that on the screen for you folks. Check him out, see what he's got going on, and great history of country music that this man has lived. He's lived it. And so the story, the true story, if you wanted the real scoop on how the outlaw movement started, blame this guy, James Marvell.
Waylon and Willie, we're told it began. Outlaws and paycheck, they were the trend. Long hair and country, those were the years. There were urban cowboys, outlaws, and cavaliers. Way back in 1964, I came a-singing, I was ignored, ahead of your time, cowboy, that's what I hear. There just ain't no room for a cavalier. Waylon and Willie, we're told it begins. Outlaws and paycheck, they were the trend. Long hair and country, those were the years. There were urban cowboys, outlaws, and cavaliers. Long hair and country, those were the years. There were urban cowboys, outlaws, and cavaliers.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. Hope to see you all again next week on J.K. Coltrane's Stars of Tomorrow show.